Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to once again another episode of Top 5 Poses. Last time we took a look at probably one of the coolest figures in the line as far as uniquity, and that is battle damaged Super Saiyan Gohan, which, by the way, I totally think we need more battle damaged versions of characters overall, and I think a battle damaged Piccolo would be a good place to start, especially if it was in 2.0 form. That would be sick. Anyways, in this episode, we're taking a look at, in my opinion, one of the most successful quote-unquote redos in the line to this date. And I mean, I'm not exaggerating here, because unless you were a fan of the Goku look where he decided to compete in a bodybuilding competition and over to the spray tan and then went to McDonald's and got honey mustard all over his hair, this newer version of Super Saiyan 3 Goku, well, let's just say it's one way to take things even further beyond. Alright guys, sorry to keep you waiting. So I think it goes without saying that Super Saiyan 3 has a fan base all on of its own, and despite being outshone by transformations such as Blue, it still gets its time in the limelight on the odd occasion. Now of course, going even further back before Super, I'd say we got a good deal of awesome poses from the Buu saga, and even movies like Fusion Reborn as well. But let me stop my blabbering right here, and let's power up right into my top 5 poses for Super Saiyan 3 Goku. So first up is a pretty vanilla pose, yet it still communicates a great deal about the character, and that is the good old stoic stance with Super Saiyan 3 Goku just judging the crap out of everything that walks by. As I said, there isn't really much to this pose, but if you're looking for something reminiscent of a look from the anime, or just something simple that communicates the intensity of this transformation, you can't really go wrong with this pose. But let's face it, most of us have tried this one out before, so why don't we kick things up a notch? I'm also throwing in the classic transformation pose as well as just a little bit of a smirking pose going on here as well, as I think these are some of the most basic yet effective poses for this figure. So coming in at number 4 is sort of a blanket category, and that is any aerial pose, especially those involving an extended kick or sort of what I call a more powerful looking punch. I think this works particularly well for a Super Saiyan 3 Goku for the same reasons it worked for Super Saiyan 2 Gohan. It really depicts the fact that this transformation is not just a simple increase in strength, but overall capability as well. And from an aesthetic standpoint, these poses really let you appreciate the different shapes and lines on the figure, and mostly, it lets you screw around with the articulation to come up with some sick poses without making the figure look like a 3-year-old got their hands on it, took a crap and left it in the bathroom. And bonus points if you got some kind of action effect going on like whooshes, or even better the electric effects from Tamashii. Really kicks this pose up a couple notches. I'm actually thinking about getting into some of these for myself. So at number 3 in the middle of this list, I've got Super Saiyan 3 Goku charging a Kamehameha. Now I think this looks a bit better than the actual launching of the Kamehameha for the simple reason of taking advantage of the full features of the figure. You see, from the side or even at an angle, you get a lot more from this figure visually. From the length and spikiness of the flowing hair, to the contrast of the smooth color palette of Goku's gi, to the muscles. From a dead-on point of view, you don't get this nearly as much. Now arguably, you can angle him away in the Kamehameha launching pose as well, but what would be the point of him firing a wave away from the audience unless it's paired with another figure? Having said that, if you're looking for a pose that offers a little bit more dynamicness to it rather than the previous 2 poses, this is a good one to consider. Alright, so honorable mentions. My first honorable mention is the one I almost wish was eligible for another top 5 spot on this list, but of course, to keep true with the guidelines we set out in episode 1, that's not possible. In any case, posing Super Saiyan 3 Goku using Majin Buu as a punching bag is probably one of the most dynamic poses I've tried with this figure, probably one of my favorites as well. I think it just looks spectacular. Only downside is that you're going to need a lot of support from the stands to pull this off, and I mean, I don't know about you, but Tamashii stands here aren't exactly the most reliable when they have a bulk of weight on it. Next up, and my last honorable mention, until we see the likes of Kid Buu anyway, would be posing Super Saiyan 3 Goku with Beerus. Drawing inspiration of course from the Battle of Gods movie rather than the animation of the Super episode. Not much else to explain about this one folks, other than the fact that we seldom get to see Beerus fighting anyone else other than Super Saiyan God Goku. Okay, so coming in at number 2 on this list is a pose I think some people would have expected to be probably at number 1, and that is the one and only Dragon Fist, or Dragon Fire as it's dubbed in one of the movies. Now hear me out on this. I simply don't think the figure possesses the right amount of articulation to execute this pose flawlessly directly face forward. However, it's not horrible and definitely something iconic to try, which is why I still have it on this list. In my opinion, in order to do this pose some justice, you've got to angle Goku so that he's inclined towards the point of view. Otherwise, like much of the other figures in this line, a straightforward dash doesn't look the best. Now this pose would be much better the more you tweak the joints, but at the end of the day is a fantastic and dynamic pose. As with pose 5 on this list, other variations of this pose can work well too, such as the ground-based approach seen here. Only problem we encounter here is the eyes and head being limited by the articulation due to the hair. Okay folks, so coming in at number 1, I have an underrated pose in my opinion, and I draw inspiration for it from movie 12, Fusion Reborn. This really made an impression on me when Goku was taking on Super Janemba, and it pretty much showcases that even with the immense power up, it was not enough to win the fight. Goku still retains a lot of speed and agility in this form, and it's showcased in this pose. It's pretty cool to see considering the raw power this form is known for. And in terms of bringing it into realization with this figure, it does not fall short in its capabilities by any means. If you're looking for a quite simple pose that doesn't really require much else other than a stand and some effects, this might be the one for you. Throw in a villain in his proximity or even these energy blasts here to make it look like he's dodging, and you got this up one level. Of course, there are other variants of this pose too, all of which, if done right, can kick things up several notches. Alright guys, so there's my take on the top 5 ways to pose Super Saiyan 3 Goku. One of my favorite figures, and I really wish I had more energy effect parts to pair him with. If I had to leave you with one tip for this figure, it would be that remember the largest hair piece is articulated. The last thing you'd want is to have a solid pose going on and then have it look flat because you simply forgot to angle the hair to indicate motion and or gravity. But there you have it guys, what did you think? Have you tried any of these poses on the list before? Do you like any of them? Will you be trying them? I'd really like to know. Also, like I was mentioning, I do own the new movie figures, so I just haven't shipped them from my pile of loot in Big Bad Toy Store yet, so be patient, they are coming. Until next time guys, you know what I always say. May the best of your days be the worst of your tomorrows. Peace.